I have no words, you guys. Hi friends, it's Kay. Welcome back to my channel, and I am so excited. I cannot stand it. Welcome to my Bookmas 2020 haul. Okay, so I'm not even gonna lie, I was not expecting half of these books. I had given my mom my Amazon wish list because she wanted to get me stuff, and she went a tiny bit overboard. And by a tiny bit overboard, I mean she bought my entire Amazon wish list, and I was just like opening all the gifts, but I'm so grateful, I'm so blessed, and I cannot wait to share these books with all of you. So let's just jump right into it, because we'll be here a while. So first, I want to start with arguably the most gorgeous book I received yesterday, and that is something I have wanted for a very, very long time, and that is the Barnes & Noble Beauty and the Beast Classic Edition. And this book not only contains Beauty and the Beast, but a bunch of other fairy tales as well, such as Rumpelstiltskin, Cinderella, and the 12 Dancing Princesses are the only ones I know of aside from Beauty and the Beast. But this is just gorgeous, so gorgeous. I can't even begin. I almost cried when I saw it. It's so beautiful. And the end pages are, just look at them, you guys. They're beautiful. This whole book is just artwork. And I cannot wait to have it on my shelf, as well as get to finally read some classic fairy tales, because as you all know, I love retellings, and now I can finally read the classic first editions of all the fairy tales I have grown to love retellings of, so I'm very, very excited to dive into this over the next few years. And now for the rest of these, I just have them stacked here. So in no particular order, I'm just going to pull books from the pile and tell you what they're about. And I have a great many of them, so we're just going to jump on it with Bright Burning Stars by A.K. Small. So Bright Burning Stars is a ballet book, and I have a great many of them in this pile actually, but this one is about two best friends at the Paris Opera House, and when there is a murder that takes place there, both of them are now questioning how far they will go to receive the top spot, and what morals they will break and what not. And I am very excited about this book. I saw it a few years ago and now I have it. I don't know great much other than that what it's about, so I'm very excited to dive into it and read it. Next up on this list is a book that Haley from Haley and Bookland has gushed about this year, and it has made me super interested in it, and that is Wolf by Ryan Graudin. And this is also one of the cooler covers of it I have seen. I only have seen the edition with the wolf on the cover and the map, but this one is very cool. I love this edition. So Wolf by Wolf is about an alternative future of what if the Axis powers had won World War II, and now there is this great motorcycle race, and the winner of this race gets to meet Hitler, and our main character is a victim of the concentration camp experience, and now she has the ability to shapeshift. So she is now a spy for rebel forces who are trying to kill Hitler. So she is now determined to win the motorcycle race so she can meet and then kill Hitler. And Haley has described this as gritty, dark, and captivating, and I am so excited to read it. And I love alternative history books. I love historical fiction, so I'm very excited to dive into this book. Next, continuing on the Ryan Graudin path, is Invictus. And this is a little lighter than Wolf by Wolf. This is a time travel, kind of a Doctor Who-esque book, and this is about a man who should not exist. So his mother is a time traveler, and his father is a Roman gladiator from like the 12th century. So he should not be able to exist, but he does. And this is all about his story, and somehow we're involved on the Titanic, and I really don't want to know more. But I'm super excited. I love a good time travel book, so I cannot wait to jump into this. And next up on this book haul is Beloved by Toni Morrison. Now this is a historical fiction, I believe, about slavery, and it's following a protagonist who has lived through slavery and escapes, but she is still not free, and her baby dies with one word on its grave, which is beloved. And I've heard this kind of travels generations with the dark cloud of slavery looming over it, and Toni Morrison is a beloved author, and I really want to read her work, so I decided to start with Beloved, and I cannot wait to get to it. Okay, so now for a lighthearted fantasy, and that is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. And I'm sorry I skip around with saying authors' names or not, but we'll go with it. So I heard about this book from Ashley from A Frolic in Fiction, and she loved this book and described it as a nice lighthearted fantasy, kind of easy to get through, and I would love to have that because I always take forever to read fantasy books, and this one just sounded really intriguing. So this one is about a protagonist who paints in a world of art. She paints human sorrow into the Fairy King's eyes, and that is a strict no-no because fairies are not supposed to feel human emotion. So she is taken to the fairy realm and tried at court, I believe. And Ashley described this as a very artistic view of the world, and I personally love that kind of illustration and imagery in a story, so I'm very excited to get to this. And there's also a big romance in it, and I heard that's a big chunk of the plot, so I'm here for it, and I cannot wait to dive into it. Also continuing on the romance path is Chasing Lucky by Jenn Bennett. I have heard amazing things about Jenn Bennett this year, so I really wanted to get into her stories, and this one sounds absolutely adorable and amazing, and I'm very excited to dive into it. How many times can I say dive into it in this haul? Who knows? You can count and decide. So Chasing Lucky is kind of a second chance, childhood best friends to enemies to lovers story, so that sounds very intriguing to me. And also, our main character is a photographer. The photography hobby sounds really cool, so I'm here for that. So yes, our main character is returning home to a bookstore, and that's the other reason I wanted to read it. It's a bookstore story. And yeah, I just am really intrigued to read it, and it sounds like a really cute, fluffy read. Continuing on the Jenn Bennett path, we have series Moonlight. So this one is about a girl who is a mystery writer, and her and a van driver somehow fall into a real-life mystery where a reclusive author might be meeting people at a hotel. And this is their love story and kind of follows along this mystery. And I heard this was a super cute read. And yeah, it was the other Jenn Bennett book that sounded really intriguing to me. So I'm excited to read it. Plus the covers I like the Jenn Bennett covers. They're cute. So yes, I'm intrigued to read it, very excited to read it, and I'm ready to dive in. And now we have another ballet mystery, and that is Tiny Pretty Things, which I heard has just now been adapted into a Netflix show, so I might have to check that out after I read the series. So yes, this is following, I think, 3 different dancers, and they're each very different in their views of ballet and the school and how they are living life. And there's very intense stakes, lots of drama, and I have never experienced that side of ballet, so I always like reading books and just comparing my life to books about ballet. It's a fun hobby. So yes, lots of competition, lots of drama, lots of betrayals, I'm sure, and I'm intrigued. And next up, because as you know, I love fairy tale retellings and Disney, so I had to get Rebel Rose, and this is about the first in a new series about the Disney princesses after the end of their movies, and in this case, this is about Belle and having to rule France during the French Revolution in the 1700s, and I'm super excited because I love historical fiction, and obviously I love the Disney princesses, and I'm very excited to see how Belle's story will continue. And continuing on the historical fiction France path, we have The Court of Miracles by Kester Grant, and I'm super excited about this. This has been pitched as Les Mis meets The Jungle Book, so not sure how that's working, but I'm very intrigued to find out. So this is about where Paris is split into guilds in like the 1800s, and our main character is from the Thieves Guild, meaning she can steal anything. However, her sister is soon captured by another, which is not going to end well for her. So this is all about her trying to save her sister by going through King Louis XIV's court, and I'm very excited about it. Okay, this next one I have a super adorable story behind, so I have to go with it next, and that is I Want to Be Where You Are by Kristina. Now, my niece came in the middle of me filming this book haul just a few seconds ago, and I showed her this book, and she said, pointed to it and said ballerina, and I was shocked because this book is about a ballerina's road trip. So I was like, and then she pointed again and said Tay, which is her name for me. And apparently this book reminds her of me because I'm a ballerina, and it was the cutest thing. So I had to go with this book next because that melted my heart. Oh my gosh. So this is about a ballerina whose mom is refusing to let her go to this ballet school. So she hears there's an audition like across a few towns. So she's determined to go to it. And on her way out of the driveway, her neighbor stops her and says if he can't go with her, he'll tell. And I'm just like, why? So I'm intrigued to find out why he wants to go on this road trip so badly. So yes, this is about their road trip, and I'm pretty sure about their eventual romance, and I'm super excited. This book sounds absolutely adorable, and I just love the cover. So yes, I'm very excited for this book. Now, this next book, I was actually with my grandma when we found it, and it was a whole day early from its release date, so I had to go ahead and buy it, even though I knew I was getting it for Christmas. So that is Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer. Now, I love Marissa Meyer, so I'm very excited about this. This is her first contemporary book, and there's a slight fantastical element to it, which is one day our main character wakes up and she has the ability to give instant karma to anyone who deserves it. So she's out to take revenge on people who have wronged her, and as she's going to use her new powers on her sworn enemy in her chem class, her powers don't work and they backfire. So this is kind of an enemies to lovers story on top of that. Plus, I think there's going to be a really cute message to it. So I'm very excited for Marissa Meyer's newest book. Now, these next two were on my wish list because I never want to buy romance books for myself. I'd rather get them at the library. But these sounded really good, so I went ahead and added them, even though I had a feeling I would read them at the library. And like I said, my mom got a hold of my wish list, so I ended up with both of them. And that is Island Affair, the first one at least, is Island Affair by Priscilla Oliveras. Sorry if I mispronounced that. And this is kind of, I feel like it reminded me of the Unhoneymooners, but I don't think they're similar that much. So our main character is a social media influencer who has been revealed with an eating disorder, so she's kind of taking a break from the limelight, and then this other dude is going to a family reunion and he needs a date, so somehow they end up together. And they're going to pretend to be in a relationship, and I have a feeling it's going to go into a real relationship, so I'm very intrigued and excited to see how this book is going to go. And then this next book is You Deserve Each Other, which is a lovers turned bitter towards each other back to being in love with each other, and I'm very excited. So this is second chance romance between two fiancés. These two have kind of fallen out of love with each other, but however, in order to end their wedding, the one that ends it has to pick up the bill for everything. So neither of them want to do it, so they end up getting into this competition with each other to see who will end it first. However, along the way, they end up having a great time with each other and fall back in love, I believe, and that sounds absolutely adorable and different than anything I've really read before. So I'm very excited to read it and see how I like it. Now, I don't know what it is about me and the French Revolution and historical France in general in this book haul, but another addition to that is Dangerous Remedy by Kat Dunn, and this is an kind of enchanted twist on the French Revolution, and that's really all I know about it, but I'm very excited about it. I know this group kind of bands together and tries to survive in these really bloody times, and I'm super intrigued by it. So yes, it's about this group of characters who are kind of just trying to survive, and their newest mission together is trying to hunt down someone with magical abilities, and yeah, that's really all I know about it, and I'm very excited to read it. Back on the fantasy track, we have The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle Jensen, and this text is insanely small. I was not expecting that. This is about a princess who is betrothed to a neighboring kingdom. However, she has been trained as a spy to bring the kingdom of her betrothed down, and as she's going into this new home, she begins to learn more about the place than what she was told, and she begins to see a new side of it, and I feel like there's a romance that's going to happen between her and her betrothed, so I'm very intrigued to find out, and I have heard really good things about this book, and it is now a series or a duology. I'm not sure completely which one, but I'm very excited to read this first book. And another addition to my Disney collection, and that is A Twisted Tales, so this is love, and the Twisted Tales series is about what if one plot point changed in the Disney fairy tales and how that one plot change would affect the entire story. So this one is what if Cinderella never tried on the glass slipper, and I have heard really good things about this one. I read A Whole New World and As Old as Time, and they weren't my favorite books I've ever read, but I went with them. But this one I have heard really good things about, and I'm willing to give it a try. Plus, I've been very into Cinderella recently, and she's my original favorite princess, and I want to read more about her. I love her. So I'm very excited to go into this book and see what it is about, and I'm just excited. And now this next one, I am so excited. I added it last minute to my wish list, and that is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This book is sweeping BookTube right now with stellar reviews. It's a bunch of BookTubers' new favorite book, and I'm so excited. So this one is about a girl who loses her mother, and she is now going to a early college program on a college campus, and while she is there, she witnesses something she's not supposed to that is magical, and when they try to wipe her memory, her powers are unlocked. Now this is a King Arthur retelling somehow, and I'm so excited. I did not know that when I first heard of it, so once I heard it was a King Arthur retelling, I had to add it to the wish list because I just love retellings, as you know, and I've heard nothing but good things. I'm so excited, and I cannot wait to read it. And now this last book on this Bookmas haul is Bonecryer's Moon, and this is the first in a series about these women that can control the dead and keep the dead at bay, however at the price of killing their one true love. Now, you can kind of guess where this is going. So our main character is trying to step into her powers and all that fun stuff. She's actually the head of the Bonecryers, so this is all up, and she's ready to step into her new role. However, she has to kill her true love in order to do this. And flip to our other POV, and that is said true love. However, his family was killed by Bonecryers, so he is out for revenge, and somehow they fall in love. I'm not sure how, but it's kind of their love story from what I've heard. So this book sounded so good, and I'm very excited to finally have my hands on it. Oh my goodness, that was a lot of books. I think there are 20, but I am so happy. This is the most books I've ever received at one time, so I'm so glad I was able to do a haul on it. If you have read any of these books or any of these books are on your radar, please let me know in the comments. I'm very intrigued. And if you loved any of these, let me know so I can prioritize. I don't know how I'm reading all these in the next year. I really don't. Oh my gosh. If you want to see more of me, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you want to find me elsewhere, my socials are linked below. Until next time, I'm Kay. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!